Right, next bit. Where can we hide these days? So basically stablecoins, but I'm not going to sort of insult you with telling you what a stablecoin is exactly. We all know that. And I sort of want to breeze through this. But when you look into it, there are many different types of stablecoins. Like you could create a grid of probably about 7 different types of stables, but really when you add them all up into their key things, there's only about 4. So you've got fiat-backed stablecoins, which is a stable which is supposedly fully backed by cash or cash equivalents, let's say. So if you have $100 billion worth of stablecoin supply, you should have $100 billion worth of cash or bonds or cash equivalents, right? So that's what a fiat-backed stablecoin is. You have crypto-backed, where you have, let's say, $100 billion worth of stablecoins. You should have $100 billion worth of other crypto, Bitcoin, ETH, etc. They're less stable, in my opinion, because what happens if we're in a bear market and the value of ETH and all these other crypto starts going down? You're going to have to burn your stables in order to meet your falling balance, right? Which what we've seen in the past doesn't happen sometimes. You know, crypto-backed stablecoins, their balance, as in the thing that backing it, diminishes as the crypto prices go down, but they don't burn the floating supply, and therefore it becomes an unbacked, crypto-backed stablecoin, which to a degree, FTX or UST was one of them ish. You then have commodity-backed ones, which are pointless. Like almost every day, or no, every day, it used to be every week, someone would contact me going, "Hey Siam, I've got this gold-backed stablecoin here. It's going to change the world, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, oh, no. It's like all of these people, they just copy and pasted each other's white paper and just changed the branding. That's all they did. Every gold-backed stablecoin white paper I read was almost identical. And in order for a gold, or let's say a gold-backed stablecoin, you would need at least probably the 5th, for it to work, you'd need a gold supply, probably at least the 5th biggest supply in the world for it to actually do something. Whereas what happens with most of these crypto gold-backed stables is that they have, you know, a couple of tons, if that. Really, you need thousands of tons to have it working. And hell, I said it in the last cuddle, Gaddafi tried to make his own gold-backed currency, which technically was, you know, a commodity-backed currency. And he pulled all of Africa's gold together to do that, and yeah. Then we have algorithmic stablecoins, which, as we know, that's really what UST was. That went pop, and loads of other algorithmic ones have. So what happens with an algorithmic stablecoin is that they have no backing, right? So unlike a fiat-backed one, there's no big pot of cash backing out a stablecoin. So they use algorithms to balance the supply and demand. So let's say we have your amount of stablecoins, the supply of stables over here. If all of a sudden there's less demand for that stablecoin, what happens is the algorithm has to burn a whole bunch of stables, right, to make sure things are in line. If there's like the beginning of a bull market and there's big demand for that stablecoin, then the algorithm mints new stablecoins, right? So the algorithm's supposed to mint and burn constantly, but we've seen many times it doesn't happen. So, you know, we all know why we want a stable, because we want to be able to sidestep during times of panic, and it's unfeasible to sidestep back into fiat every time. Now I know there is a tax event whether you go into a stable or to fiat. That's not the case. It's the issue really of going into fiat all the time is that your centralized exchange screwing you over. There are so many times where I've moved into cash back into Kraken and then taken the cash into my bank account. Then when I want that money back into crypto, Kraken go, "Oh no, extra verification," and delay me weeks. I remember the worst example of this is back in 2017 where I wanted to buy ETH. I wanted to put, it was either 50 grand or 100 grand, I can't remember, into ETH at $9. So I moved, I can't remember, 50 or 100 grand from my Santander business bank account to Kraken, and I made a video, it's on YouTube. I was like, I'm gonna buy ETH at $9. And then Kraken delayed me for 6 weeks. By the time that money, that fiat was available to trade, ETH was $49. Ridiculous, I lost out on it. And that's not the first time Kraken or Binance has screwed me over like that. So we do need somewhere safe, or somewhere to hide at least, somewhere to sidestep. Now, when you look at the market cap of the main stables at the moment, the ones we're all familiar, well, I'm not even, so the top 5 are here, but I'm not going to bother with True USD because the market cap's only $1 billion. It's basically insignificant. So we have Tether and USDC, they're the top dogs. Then you have BUSD and then DAI, which actually is one of my favorites, to be fair. DAI is from Maker. It's quite low in market cap, but so far, in my opinion, it's been one of the best performing ones out there because it's a decentralized one to a degree. So, oh, that's not working. Now, it's really hard trying to investigate the inner workings of each stablecoin in terms of how collateralized it is. If you were to go and Google and look for, type, I don't know, how collateralized are stablecoins or Tether collateralization chart or whatever, it's like the internet is like scrubbed most of that data. It's really hard. I spent a good day just trying to find accurate cap tables or, and the collateralization of stuff. It's hard. I don't know why they've made it so hard. And even when you do find stuff like this, it's like, do you trust it? I don't trust it. Like it's an ongoing crypto joke that Tether is a joke, right? It's been known to be massively under-collateralized. They've been caught lying many times. They've said, oh yeah, we've got X billion, whatever the supply was, we've got X billion dollars in US bank accounts. Then every US bank went, no. And then they said, oh no, it's in bank accounts overseas. Okay, which ones? And they've been very opaque. So when you see charts like this on their own website or other website, this was from The Block, I mean, it looks good. Like the fact that they got most of their backing in cash equivalents or cash, and then these are not good. When you have a stable coin, you do not want to back it with secured loans or corporate bonds because people default, don't they? And when shit hits the fan, one defaulting entity or spur endless, a tree of defaulting entities, like we're seeing with Genesis and DCG at the moment, etc. So really, you need it 100% cash. But yeah. So technically speaking, if Tether is 100% backed, and this is accurate, and we have some corporate bonds going to tits or whatever, it can very quickly be under-collateralized. That's if you even believe that. Again, same thing with USDC. They're putting a lot more trust in corporate bonds and commercial paper. So, yeah. Now, on the other hand, BUSD by Paxos on the Ethereum chain looks a lot better. But again, when you look at all these things, everything looks great. And just getting real data, I'm personally finding quite hard at the moment when it comes to stablecoins. And I consider myself a good Googler. But then you look at DAI, and DAI has nearly always been over-collateralized. So really, for a stablecoin, that's what you want to see. Like if I was going to set up a stablecoin, just for ultimate trust, I would make it over-collateralized, and I'd just put all the funds in escrow, where everyone can see. Or a digital or crypto form of escrow, which I couldn't touch, I couldn't manipulate, and everyone, open wallets, or not, a visible wallet, let's say. I mean, it's not hard, is it? Why are they not doing that? Because people do want the tools to manipulate stuff. But genuinely, if you wanted to create a proper decentralized stablecoin that, that would gain loads of trust, it is not hard. You just make it massively over-collateralized and transparent and put it in escrow. Job done. And no one's freaking doing it. DAI, I think, is basically the one that is doing it very well. But the problem that I've got with DAI is that the thing backing it, they're using other, in my opinion, somewhat, it could be risky things. So what if USD goes bust? I don't think it will. But don't forget, there were loads of crypto and loads of stable coins that had huge percentages of their backing in UST, as in the Anchor protocol. And we all know what happened with FTX and Anchor and all that. So any crypto that had loads of UST as their collateral, all buggered. Well, there was a time where if I was to say, oh yeah, UST is probably going to go bust, you would laugh at me. At the time, everyone thought, nothing will go wrong with FTX. Well, here, DAI has got basically nearly all of its backing with USD. Bit of an Ethereum, then Pax Dollar, again, wrapped Bitcoin, and then other. I don't know. So it says it's over collateralized, but really, I don't actually trust any of that in terms of, you need cash, hard cash. And what's even more alarming is that BUSD, or this guy called Patrick Tan, he said it was often unbacked. It was basically, BUSD has nearly always been unbacked, which is phenomenal. So I had a long little dig around his Twitter page, and he's come up with some pretty cool stuff. And these charts, it just blew my mind. So this is the balance. When I say balance, as in how much money was actually backing BUSD, right? This doesn't mean anything in itself, but when you look at the supply against the balance, ooh. So let's break this down. The red line is how much actual money or stuff is backing up BUSD. The green line is how much the floating supply of BUSD. So what it's saying here, for most of 2020, BUSD was completely unbacked. I mean, is that not alarming? I mean, most of us, or a lot of us, myself included, trusted-ish, BUSD-ish to a degree. But we can see here from March, basically BUSD was completely unbacked. They would basically print USD without increasing collateral. They would then eventually try and catch up, but then they just keep on printing BUSD. And they're constantly playing catch up. But every time the backing caught up with the floating supply, guess what happened? They're like, everything's safe now. Print! And yeah, not good. So when look by how much. So at its worst, it was like, let's call it $1.3 billion unbacked at its worst. But on average, what is the average? I'd say, probably at least $600 million unbacked. That's not a small amount. So, this is basically showing us that BUSD could have easily gone bust, just like UST. So I think they've dodged a bullet here, somehow. Now, when you superimpose the price of BNB, as in Binance coin, onto this, you could draw yourself to some conclusions here. So we've seen these two lines, but look at this. Every time BUSD was pumped, guess what the price of BNB did? Whee! Nearly every single time they pumped the supply of BUSD, the price of Binance boomed. Now, is that coincidence? Or is it causation? Again, I did try and ruffle into and dig into this, and I couldn't find anything conclusive. So you're just going to have to make up your own minds about that. But I think it's rather suspect. This is very similar to the whole Tether stuff in 2017. But that's not it. There's still more FUD for Binance here. So I recently cashed in a whole bunch of crypto, from various places, and I had to convert, USDT and other stable coins into, Tether or whatever, so I could then move it to an exchange to get off, right? And also at the same time, I wanted to try and convert some Tether into BUSD, because I trusted BUSD more than I did Tether, so I can then extract BUSD for safekeeping. But I ran into this. So Binance, if you haven't seen, now has a BUSD auto conversion function on its platform. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, what's this? So in a nutshell, what happens is if you send BUSD or any stablecoin to Binance, what it does is it automatically converts it into BUSD. So you send $10,000 in USDC, it will convert it into $10,000 of BUSD. I'm like, okay. All trading on Binance, all spot trading now is done in BUSD. Okay. Then can you extract that 10,000 USDC? No. Oh, so yes, you can. What you can't do now is extract BUSD, which is crazy, right? So you could send a whole bunch of crypto, like let's say Bitcoin, sell it, it will sell it in BUSD, and let's say you want to extract that BUSD to your wallet, they can't do that. It will give you a list of 3 stables that you can extract. I think USDT, USDC, and something else. But you cannot extract BUSD. So my bullshit detector went straight off there. What are they trying to do? They're trying to stop a BUSD bank run, aren't they? Like, why else would you do that? Why would you stop? Oh, sorry, yeah?
It forces everyone to trade in that on their platforms, so they'll get more fees.
Exactly. So, beat me to that slide. So I looked into this, right? And so this is from the Binance website. This is why are we doing this? Yada yada yada. So they're trying. Where's the other one? Oh yeah, True USD is the other one that they'll swap it in. So the angle that they're saying is that by forcing everyone to trade in BUSD, it's creating better liquidity for everyone. So instead of having to choose whether to trade Bitcoin against BUSD or Tether or USDC, etc., by having it just one pair, there's more liquidity. So for a trader, from a trading point of view, that makes sense. That's good for us, I guess, because you'll get less slippage. Okay, but like Reese correctly just said, also by forcing all trading in BUSD, who's getting all the commissions? Binance. So from a business point of view, I'm not knocking that. That makes sense. But my reading through all of their official stuff, I'm still screaming they're just stopping a bank run. Like if a whole bunch of BUSD escapes their ecosystem, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to print more BUSD, and I think they don't have enough backing. So I think by trying to keep all the BUSD, in one place, they can basically try and sort out this shit show over here, potentially. That's just my very there's high speculation on my behalf. So CZ, please don't sue me. But it's not the end for Binance. They've recently suspended all US, as it says, all US dollars, all US dollar bank transfers from literally 3 days ago. Originally, they said they would only process trades by users with USD bank accounts over 100,000. That was effective on the 1st of Feb. But now they've gone, So what's happened is that, they've published a list of 144 countries where USD SWIFT transfers of any size would be suspended. So I looked into this, and it turns out the reason why is that they were using a bank called Signature, right? So Signature Bank, I think it's based in Singapore. Does it say on this one? No. I think off the top of my head, Signature Bank is based in Singapore. And then I was like, okay, well, let's have a look into Signature Bank. Signature Bank is in a lot of trouble right now because it had shitloads of FTX and UST. So FTX is still screwing people over, even months after it happened. And the FTX debacle is screwing over Signature Bank, which means it's another knock-on effect. But anyway, Binance is untouchable at the moment. So, I don't know. CZ is a bit of a beast in the crypto world, but it's not the only fishy thing out there. So, most of us know that in 2017, there were 2 professors, I think Texas University, that released a paper saying Tether unbacked or something like that. And they proved that, yeah, is Bitcoin really untethered? And in this paper, they basically proved that Tether issuance over a certain period of time accounted for at least 40% worth of Bitcoin's price appreciation. So what they, in a nutshell, they proved in this epoch of time that every time Bitfinex were issuing Tether, they were then sending that Tether to a whole bunch of different exchanges, but mostly to Kraken, and using that freshly minted Tether to buy Bitcoin. And because of that, so they're basically printing Tether out of their arse, moving to exchanges to buy Bitcoin, and therefore the price of Bitcoin went up. And they're saying at least 40% of the price increase in 2017 was due to this unbacked Tether issuance. So yeah, they say Tether seems to be used both to stabilize and manipulate Bitcoin prices. Why have I done that twice? God damn it. They also found, yeah, so USDT was minted during falling Bitcoin prices. Nearly all USDT was moved to Bitfinex, then shifted to other exchanges. Yeah, like I just said. And this is a bit where it gets a bit funny. So the figures change. So here it says, in one article it said 50% of the Bitcoin price was attributed to this extra supply. Others say 40%, so I'm going with 40%. Yeah, but overall, our findings provide substantial support for the view that price manipulation may be behind substantial distortive effects in cryptocurrencies. So on TradingView, when you have a look at this, you can sort of see this. Now, this chart didn't go back to sort of 2017, but I wanted to see, is it still in play, right? So I've made videos before about the 2017 stuff, and it's quite clear to see that Tether does this, Bitcoin then lags. But is it still in play? That's what I want to know. So the green stuff, that is the Tether market cap. Orange is Bitcoin. That is the price of Bitcoin. So here's in 2019, what happens? We had a spike up in price first for Bitcoin, and then Tether is issued. Okay, nothing conclusive there. Then the price of Bitcoin goes down, market cap of Tether stays flat, so yeah, nothing to see here. What about over here? Now this is slightly interesting. We had a fall in Bitcoin prices, a slight sort of appreciation, and then a marked increase. Basically, it was almost a doubling of the market cap of Tether, and again, and then Bitcoin starting to follow. I'd say it's inconclusive. I think I'm potentially trying to connect dots which may not be there, but we can see basically a massive increase by over 1,400% growth of the Tether market cap, and then Bitcoin catching up eventually. And that was in 2020. Okay, maybe not. And then what happened during the crash? We had the first mini top. It crashed, nothing happened with Tether. And then that looked very artificial to me. Yeah, I think it's inconclusive really, because even this bit here, the price of Bitcoin dropped before the market cap of Tether dropped. So yeah, I personally would say that the Tether Bitcoin relationship is not like it was in 2017. So yeah, I guess I'm not trying to dismiss the rumor or that theory, but I just think in 2017 and 18 it was plain obvious. Now, not so much. But yeah, but I kept looking into this, and I was looking just for the period of January this year. So USDC reduced their market cap by basically almost $2 billion. BUSD reduced the market cap by that. DAI, yeah, again, DAI is very small compared to the others. But then I looked at this. Despite all the market caps of everyone else basically going down by a lot, USD pumped $1.3 billion in January alone, and so did Bitcoin. I don't know. Am I clutching at straws here? Quite possibly. All I'm doing is just giving you some random charts. The main thing is that everything's quite obfuscated when you try to Google this stuff at the moment. I spent more time trying to make this bloody stablecoin presentation then the whole like as much time just doing this presentation as the whole of the prep for the today's PowerPoint. Yeah, I just found it a really frustrating thing to create, and there's no conclusive answer. Am I clutching at straws here? I don't know. But anyway, so where is safe to sidestep? Well, again, in my opinion, and this changes, like there was a point last year where I said BUSD is probably the safest because everyone is being forced to basically play with Binance, CZ is a beast, all that sort of stuff. But you could have said the same thing about SBF and FTX. So like any investor, you should pivot your ideas based on new data. So I'm no longer that keen on BUSD for all the reasons I've just said, and that it's unbacked basically all of last year, and there's so much FUD going around. Not all FUD is true, but some FUD is. So obviously don't have it all in one basket, so our assets are spread across different stables at the moment. So I just don't want to be in a position where you're completely wiped out. So I don't want it all in BUSD in case that gets done and then I am done for good. I don't want that. You should you should never put yourself in a position where you could be done for good. You need to be able to fight the war and fight another day if all goes wrong. Yeah, so perhaps have a mix of stables. You could even try out some of the lower market cap stables like DAI, TrueUSD. I had a look at Gemini USD and that seems quite good. They do, in fact, of all of the stables I looked at, Gemini was probably the most transparent. So they're the Winklevi brothers. I think they're a force for good in the crypto world, to be fair. They get a lot of crap, but the market cap is so small. So if you do have stuff in GUSD, don't put your whole lot in there, have a little bit. Cash on Kraken, so convert your USDT into GBP or euros. Slightly safer in my opinion. It's looked after. It goes into a different pot basically on Kraken. We had a trading pub about that. I mean, you could do that, but for the long term, as those that just want to sit and hold for the next 10 years, yeah, you could just go get in Bitcoin now. But again, that's not for me. So what time is it? On time. Before you all go to sleep. So, what time is it? It is 2 o'clock on the dot. That's probably the first time I've ever stuck to the schedule. So